guys, I thought I would do just a little voiceover, a little video of me wrapping one of my blind date with a book. So as you can see, I'm just writing down what the book is, because once it's wrapped, and if I'm wrapping a few, I'll end up forgetting, and I need to know the genre just so I can put that on so people are aware of kind of what genre they're picking up. So I'm showing you guys the book. It's a Colleen Hoover one, which I'm really into her books at the moment. Absolutely loved Verity, so I want to read a few more of those. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of cutting off some sellotape. It's kind of not on camera, which isn't great, but oh well. I think it's so much easier if I have some kind of just cut already. I think rather than trying to do it while you're wrapping the book, you're trying to put like your hands everywhere and it's just really complicated. I like to have everything laid out and ready just so I can visualize what the colour is. So I've gone for a pink theme because it's like a romance book. I think it's just easier, so I've kind of got that visual in my head of what I want the book to look like at the end. So rather than kind of measuring out how much paper I'm going to need, I just do a rough measurement with the book. I think it's so much easier to just kind of put the book over a few times, see kind of how much I'm going to need to wrap it up, rather than like measuring it. I think it's always better to have more paper than you might need, just in case, because if you've got less, you're going to be able to see the book, and that's not what we want. You can always cut it off in the future if you have way too much. So I'm just cutting it here. I like to use brown paper. I think it's a really nice, it's not too in your face with all the other stuff going on. The paper, to me, just using brown, I just think it looks nice. I just think it looks better than using like a themed cut like wrapping paper. So once I've kind of got my measurement, I like to kind of just put my book where I think kind of where I'm going to need the most paper. I always cut more off here because I just think it's better to have more. So once I've done that, I'm going to start wrapping it now. You can see I've kind of got a rough measurement and I'm just trying to kind of centre it. It doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's mainly in the centre, just because of how you're going to end up wrapping it. So I always put sellotape here. It doesn't mark the book, it won't tear anything off of the book. It just helps hold the paper in place when I'm going to start folding it. So now that I'm happy with that, you can see I'm kind of just eyeing up where it is, how I'm going to start kind of folding it. I always like to do the right side first. I don't know why, I just do. I think it's always easier. This is the hardest part for me, just trying to kind of fold it over, make it all smooth, kind of like flushed, I think that's the word. I do have a little bit too much here, as you can see, so I will cut a little bit off, but I think it's always better to have more, like I've said. So I'm just kind of eyeing up how I want the folds to look and just trying to make it all flush. Now I've got my sellotape, I'm going to kind of just sellotape that so it stays down, just because it's difficult when you're doing the other side as well. I kind of just taught myself how to wrap the book, because I wanted it to look and have a few different folds to put stuff in. So just kind of winged it and kind of just perfected how I like it to look. As you can see here, I'm going to try and it's better to have more, and it's okay to have that little kind of fold sticking out, because you're going to put stuff in, you won't be able to see them anyways. So I like to keep it all together with sellotape. I think it's so much better than using like any other tape. It just kind of matches. It doesn't draw any attention away from the stuff you're putting in. So now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to fold the bottom just like you would any other present. The books are quite easy to wrap, just because they're like rectangle rather than like a circle or anything like that. That's always really difficult to wrap. So I'm just sellotaping that. I like it to use a little bit more sellotape on the bottom, because I don't want it to come apart when I'm doing markets and stuff and when they're on my stall, because that would just be an absolute nightmare. So once I'm happy with that, I will start putting the stuff in. So now I'll probably do the face mask first, because that's the biggest thing, and I kind of go off how the face mask sits in the book. I like them to be at the front because I like you to see kind of what you're getting, and I like the face mask. I think the face mask's like a nice starter because you can work around that. So as you can see, I'm just putting all the little bits in. With these books, you do get a face mask, a tea, like a herbal tea. You get like a pen and a highlighter, 2 of the bookmarks, 2 or 3 sometimes, just depending how big the book is, of the bookmarks that I design and print myself, and then a few stickers and a few little more like stationery bits. I've had to put this video on 2x speed because it was just so long. It was like 18 minutes long. So to try and cut it down, I put it on 2x speed. I know it doesn't look like I'm going very fast, but it's better than it being 18 minutes long, which I'm surprised it takes me that long to wrap one book. I think if I wasn't filming, it would probably be a little bit quicker. So now that I've kind of got my main bits in, I like to just maybe add a few more stickers, just make it look a little bit fuller. Not that it's not full, just I think it looks nice, and it's kind of adding to the aesthetic of, like, you know, the romance, you know, just add a little few stickers in that kind of match that theme. I have a massive bundle as well of stickers. I've just got like a box full of stickers, so I like to try and use them up, just add a few more in, just if I find any that kind of think, oh, that'll match, or oh, that'll look nice, it'll go with kind of the other stuff, you know, like the pinky vibe and theme. So I'm just going through my stickers here. I do have a lot more than shown there, just to see if there's any more that kind of add in. Just, I think it's cute. I love a sticker myself, so I like to always pause as well, just, you know, check over that I like how everything's sitting and how everything's kind of laid out just before I start using the ribbon, because I feel like once you've used the ribbon, it's really hard to kind of go underneath the ribbon and fix little things. So I always like to just double check over it. I also like to use a ribbon that is on theme as well. If it's like not matching the colour, at least it's kind of matching the theme of the book. I do like to try and keep with the colour though. So here what I'm doing is just kind of crossing over, just to check kind of how I like it and how I want the book to sit. Sometimes I'll do like a crossover on the front or a crossover on the back. I prefer it on the front. I think it just adds, it's like a little detail that just kind of gives the book more depth. I just think it looks nicer rather than kind of cutting it and trying to do it like both ways. Just adds a little bit to the book. So now that I've kind of got it measured out, I don't like use a ruler or anything like that. I like to measure it off the book because every book's a different size and a different width, so it's better to just kind of measure it off the book. And I'll kind of just not stretch it, but stretch it a little bit, make sure it's tight rather than have it loose, just so that kind of crossover at the front, is it a crossover, I'm not too sure, but the front bit doesn't sit loose, because I want that kind of cross to look tight and not anything fall out. I like to sellotape it at the back. I like to try and match it up so it kind of looks seamless. Not that it's going to look seamless, but just it's better than it kind of not matching. I think it looks better if you try and just do that cross on the back. I like to sellotape one end and then sellotape the other, just so there's nothing sticking out. It's all flushed and just against the book. It just looks like you've kind of not cut it and then sellotaped it. I think it's so much easier to just do that. Also, like, I don't like being scared to use sellotape. I feel like the sellotape on the back, you want it to be secure. So now I'm just kind of looking at it, make sure that it's okay and how I want it to look. Once I've wrapped it, I do like to just double check it all. I also add one of my stickers on just at the bottom. I think it looks nice. And yeah, that's kind of it. So thanks for watching, guys.